the fastest show in sports.
Not till college, and it was only because I worked it. The Steve Miller Band. The first
not
concert
bad.
That's a pretty good one.
The first concert I got to attend as a fan or just as me, where I can go get bleep faced. U2.
Which one?
Oh man, what a
U2?
Oh, I would have paid for that.
Oh
U2
my.
for the first time. Now, granted, I also was 38, 39 because I wasn't a music guy. So U2 comes around. It's right after my mom died in 2015. And U2's here right after my birthday. They're doing that Innocence and Experience tour. And this was the first leg. We got tickets, and Ed, you know the TD Garden, the 9th floor where the hockey press box is?
Yep.
Go online and I find tickets up there. They opened it for seating.
Wow.
And I went, okay. But I also knew there's not a bad venue, there's not a bad look inside a TD Garden. And I didn't realize the stage went for that Innocence and Experience tour, the stage went end to end. So you can see everything. And they had a stage in the middle. And that's where we sat. We sat right where I used to sit for hockey games. Nice. And we sat up there. We could walk around. You had freedom. And that was basically the Joshua Tree album was the first part of that tour.
I was going to say, that sounded like Joshua Tree.
That was the Joshua Tree side, where basically there was not one bad song that was played.
Was there an occasion? Was there an occasion, perhaps, at the TD Garden where there was I don't know, a moment or two of airborne magnificence floating through the?
No, I was more I was more on the liquid propulsion.
Well, no, but I know you, but I figured you were more the liquid propulsion. But just
but
was it in the air? Was it in the air?
A U2 crowd is so different now. I mean,
yes.
I got into U2 way late in life. I Frank Isola and me were beat writers for the Knicks or the New York Daily News, and I was covering the NBA and for the New York Times. And he's like, it was a day off between the finals, the Sixers and the Lakers in 2001, pre 9/11. And we're at the Philadelphia, the First Union Center, and he's like, hey, you want to go to U2? Let's go get him. So we obviously called the 76ers people that paid for some tickets. They were decent seats. And I was like one of these people like, oh, God, U2. They're like, I always thought when the people started listening to them, they'd go out like rollerblades, Oh my God, I got into that concert. I started traveling with for 6 years. I went and saw 12 shows in different cities. Boston, by the way, Kevin, I never heard them. Was it the Elevation tour or the Vertigo tour? Maybe it's the Vertigo tour. I never heard a louder crowd in my life, probably because all the Irish connections.
Yep.
But oh my God, but it wasn't just the music, the sound. I got out of there feeling like the world was a better place when U2 finished. Yeah, I mean, it was like, wow.
I have only. It was
like a spirit. It was almost like a spiritual experience.
I wish I would have seen them in their prime. I mean, at this point, because U2 is a lot like a lot of bands right now. Whereas you watch people come in, you have to count those who have canes and walkers to figure out how they're going to get to their seats. It's just
and the other thing
they got a lot. They got a lot of young people too now.
Well, that's what I'd love to go to.
This is also, and I am not going on a political rant. Just hear me out for a moment. Everyone now will speak. Most of these artists will speak a lot more at these concerts, given the climate of our country over the last 8 years. And so I went back to that U2. So we did Innocence first. 2 years later, they did The Experience. Same setup, newer songs. But on that back half, between every song, so this is now 2017. 2017, we know what's happening. Bono wouldn't shut up. And it's like, for the love of God, I just want to hear you sing.
Oh, yeah. Right? No, I heard that too.
Yes.
Yeah, no, look, you know me, some days I'm left of Michael Moore, I need to be stopped. I go harder to my left than Jalen Brunson most of the time. And so I guess what I would, but the problem is, of course, is look, I love that when they start up the Pride song, they have Martin Luther King up there. And I love that but for a while they were like all into this Myanmar political prisoner Aung San Suu Kyi, who ended up like they were so influential. They helped free her. And she ends up becoming this dictator and killing the Rohingya, like sicking the military on the Rohingya. Like nobody's perfect. But and I like their liberal slant, but it's so over the top. There was a great Onion headline you would have loved, Kevin, when U2 band members pissed off at Bono, and the story went on to say that can you stop being such a fucking activist all the time and just do a concert for us?
Right. Yeah,
It was hilarious.
by the way, back to Steve Miller real quick.
Real quick, and then we got to go on to basketball. We're running out of time.
Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
No. Talk. Do the
Well, no,
Miller.
it
What
was
is
the first time I'd ever really been to a concert, but that was also the first time, A, I'm looking going, wow, this is pretty cool. B, I go, I'm working security at Hofstra's gym. I'm patting people down who are coming in, and yet I go, shit, I guess I didn't do my job too good.
it?
Yep, there was a lot of that was when I went. I looked at one of my bosses and I said, "Hey, does everyone get absolutely baked out of their minds at these?" And they go, "Oh yeah." He says, "Don't worry." He says, "You didn't fail." I went, "Okay, good."
Just remember that first moment.
Yep.
One hit.
Yeah. Hey, kid, you want some?
That's all, folks.